Welcome back. Well, canola prices have come down over the past several weeks, and some market analysts are predicting that decline may be long-lived. The November canola futures contract plummeted almost $200 per ton between June 1st and June 24th. That's an 18% decline. And StatsCan has released an updated view on Canadian acreage estimates after collecting information on 25,000 farms with seeded areas. Joining me to talk about all of this and a bit more is Jon Driedger. He's Vice President of LeftField Commodity Research. Jon, thanks a lot for joining us. Canola is an extremely important crop to Canadian agriculture and to the farmers that produce it. We are major exporters of the product. What has happened to pricing and why?
Yeah, as you mentioned in your opening comments, we've seen a dramatic sell-off, and there's a couple factors that are at play. And one is specifically for if we think about canola fundamentals themselves. If we think back to, say, late May, early June, we kind of had a good chunk of Western Canada that was extremely dry, and we actually had a chunk of the eastern prairies that were extremely wet, and there was concerns about acres not getting planted. And both of those situations have improved dramatically. And so I think from the market's perspective, the crop is certainly larger today than what feared as being possible maybe a month ago. So that's certainly one part of it. And then the other part as well is that canola has been caught up in some weakness in the broader grain markets. Also crude oil, some other commodities have sold off. And so it's kind of a combination of those factors. They kind of feed on themselves, and then you get the intensity of the selling that we've seen these last couple of weeks.
Is the market directly affected by the war in Ukraine? Is, for instance, Ukraine a significant producer of canola?
They're not a large producer of canola, but they are important for export markets, and particularly into Europe, which is a key importer of canola or rapeseed. And so in some sense, when you look at the decline in canola futures, you might argue it potentially could be a little bit overdone. And with all markets, there's many factors that come into play, but certainly access to those Ukrainian supplies is at best a question mark right now. So it is interesting that the market has sort of pulled back to pre-invasion levels, given that that situation certainly hasn't been resolved.
A lot of canola, of course, is converted into canola oil. Most of us city people know canola best for the canola oil we buy at the grocery store. And isn't it the case that vegetable oil prices have been thrown into a bit of turmoil recently by decisions made, I believe, in Indonesia on its palm oil exports?
Yeah, and that's exactly right, and that certainly has been a key contributing factor. And there has been, maybe turmoil was an appropriate word. One of the factors that drove palm oil and soybean oil and helped support canola, say if we look back a month ago, was Indonesia potentially trying to curtail exports. Since then, they have backed off that. There was some confusion about what their policy intentions were. Production out of Malaysia and Indonesia looks like it's going to be larger than had earlier been feared. And so, again, sort of one of those culmination of various factors that are contributing to this intense weakness that we've seen in canola specifically.
And one of our big buyers is China, and there have been in recent years on and off tensions between Canada and China about Canada's ability to sell into that market. Where does that stand now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it was not that long ago that they announced that they had targeted two specific companies that they were not going to take imports from. Of course, they're two very, very large exporters out of Canada, and that sharply curtailed how much canola we sent to the country, and they've backed off that. And so I think as we look forward, and particularly as our crop gets bigger in Western Canada and we have more to export, certainly the ability to ship more to China, which is still our largest customer, certainly that'll help move some larger supplies that we have. And within this weakness of canola, we're not going to have an excess or an overabundance of it. I think the ability to move it and find home for it will not be difficult. Certainly the ability to ship more to China will be helpful in that regard. Okay, let's move on to Statistics Canada and its annual or regular crop acreage report. What's it telling us? Yeah, so in terms of canola, acres will actually be down a little bit from last year, up slightly from their earlier estimate in April. And so I think by and large for the report itself specifically, I don't know, I guess kind of a non-event might be one way of describing it, in the sense that the numbers kind of largely came in as the trade was expecting. I think within that now all attention is on yield potential. And there again, conditions have improved dramatically from what were sort of the what-if scenarios when we look back a few weeks. So in terms of Statistics Canada and its report specifically, kind of in line with expectations, but farmers actually did plant a little less canola than they did last year. But of course, last year we had this historic drought in Western Canada, which made the crop much smaller.